Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. We're live here at Adventure Unknown in Fenton, Missouri. If you're in the St. Louis area and you haven't been to AU yet, would love the opportunity to show you around this awesome place. Send me a message, can give you a tour, show you everything from the amenities that we have to the networking space, talk about the different happy hours and the opportunities to level up in both life and business that have here. There's also some co-working spaces available as well. So send me a message, would love to tour you, give you a tour around the place. Also show you where we host and produce this podcast in partnership with Trueline Media Group, formerly Punchline Productions. They are the ones that take care of everything, can show you, introduce you to their team, and show you specifically where we actually create this content. So today I'm joined by someone I've been connected to online for almost 5 years now. Feels like we know each other so well, but it was actually the first time that we've met in person, both being here in St. Louis. Somehow, some way, this is the first time we're getting connected. We got connected. He was originally looking for some digital marketing stuff. We were already working with another local company who was a competitor of his. So I told him, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to help. But since then, this guy has literally been one of my biggest supporters and fans. He's seen me from years ago when I was just getting rolling to where I'm at today. He's always got a lot of different stuff going on. So I'm actually interested to see what you're up to and things like that. But overall, he's just a great human being. And so I can't wait for this conversation. My guest today is Aaron Mansfield. Aaron, nice to finally meet you in person, and welcome to the show, man. Thanks.
Hell of an intro, man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So tell everybody what you got going on, what you've been doing, man.
Yeah. Well, we, like you said it best. We started as a junk removal company. That's kind of how it all started, out of COVID, desperation.
Yep.
Was a musician before that. And so when the world shut down, 4 babies to feed, I just went back to selling. I was like, we got to figure out something. I got to make money quick. Mm-hmm. So we got into junk removal. Still do that, just on a smaller scale. Use my kids as employees, which is
that's awesome.
Something not everybody else gets to do. This is a nice little, I have to deal with all that. Firing's a lot easier for me. We own a mobile bar. We just bought a camper. So we're doing like a photo booth for like a vintage camper. Kind of. So we're kind of scaling the higher end event space.
Unique experiences.
Yeah, there you go, man. And then I'm a loan officer by day trade. So I still have a full-time job, and that's what I do, make my own hours, and then get to hire other people and try to own things and not have to be there as much. Which isn't always, not good at it. But
It's what you do.
It's what I do. That's exactly right.
That's awesome, man. So talk to us about kind of before COVID, right? You're a musician, COVID happens. Kind of how does that all end up playing out?
Yeah, dude. So that's like really, it's crazy how it all unfolded. So we had 4 kids and lived in Florida at the time, and had been a musician my whole life, but never really got anywhere with it. And then when we moved to Florida, it just started growing. We started playing more regionally. It was local, regional, and then started getting some national stuff. But I was working for United Healthcare at the time, remote. And so I had a full-time job, was a music guy at a church on the weekends, and then had a band. So I had 3 things going. And over the course of 3 years in Florida, it grew. So we got to a point in September of 2019, I was able to leave United Healthcare. Perfect storm of my wife losing her job, tenants in Newtown. We evicted, had to move back to Missouri, but it was kind of a hub for touring, right? Like I can get anywhere in a couple hours. So we booked 45 out of 52 weekends, a year straight, had a band. So kind of wasn't making a lot of money, but it was, the year was booked. And so I quit that in September, and then March, the whole country shut down. So I was like, okay, cool. We can't afford Costco pizza right now. And that just was like, all right, I got to go back to work and figure something out. So jumped on the YouTube thing and was like looking for things I could, hey, what if I buy a dumpster can and leave it in a construction? Like literally, I drove a Kia Optima, so knew nothing. A guitar was all I ever knew. And basically did sales for a year to kind of build up some money. Long story short, bought a truck and trailer and just went all in on it. So it's how it got started, YouTube and being broke.
So it's a crazy story. And then, so then how did the other ventures kind of come? So I know I've been following the mobile bar thing. When did that start and how did that come to even fruition?
Yeah. So we started, my brother-in-law lives in California and he's always been a big dreamer. His wife is very practical, double master's degree, very smart. And she kind of keeps him level. Well, she had this idea for the Buzz Bee. His last name is Bazanga, is my wife's maiden name. Okay. And so they had this name for 10 years. Well, they came into town and were like throwing it around, and they know how I am. Like I'm either all in or all out, right? And so his wife was like, just be careful because Aaron's going to get this and just take off. And so we'll wait for you guys to start it.
Sure.
Long story short, he texted me that night and was like, she's not going to let me start it. Go ahead and go. That's how it went. So it's a family venture. They just have their own in SoCal and they wound up starting that same summer with us.
Okay.
So it was their baby. And I just kind of grew some legs on it and ran it. We've done zero marketing. October 2nd, our first will be like year 3 for it. And it has been full-fledged, like it's been great, dude.
Oh, I imagine.
Blew up. So still
when I saw that, I was like, that's such a cool idea. And then the branding, like all those different things kind of coming together. And I'm like, not a lot of people offer that, right? There's not a lot of, from what I know and research on, like not a lot of competition there either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially here. They're having a little bit more of a harder time in California.
I would imagine.
Yeah. But here it's a lot of the horse trailers. Just different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So like there's obviously a common theme. I think as you mentioned, like, hey, you're either all in or you're all out.
Yeah.
Right. But you're finding new opportunities, new ways to like make the thing possible. What drives you?
That's a great question. I can't sleep. Like I don't sleep well. I'm feel like I can always be doing more. It's having a day job and 3 small businesses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's cliche to probably say the kids, but it's deeper than that for me. I think there's always been this part of me that is like afraid to fail.
Sure.
Like, and I've just embraced that. Like even in my job now, it's sales driven, right? I'm a loan officer for Veterans United and my job is to help people find homes. And there's a problem I'm solving, but no matter every month if I'm first place or not, I'm afraid of like, will I get fired this month?
Sure.
I just live with that. Like, and instead of it like the fear ruling me, it's just become something I've embraced. Like, okay, do the best you can. You're not ever going to feel like it's good enough. That's who I am. But it also kind of helps me keep going. Like I'm always like, there's more in the tank. You know? Not good at resetting. But.
Well, so like it's such an interesting dichotomy because somebody asked me a couple weeks ago when I was on a podcast, I was like, hey, like for me, my mind hasn't always evolutionalized with where I'm at. And that's like a good thing and a bad thing at times where it's like, hey, I'm still sometimes not necessarily playing scared, but still in the back of my mind in the same instance of like when I had to restart last year when there was like $20,000 in the bank account. And now there's a lot more than that. My mindset for the most part hasn't shifted because I'm like, I know I have those wounds. I know how quickly it can go away.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like, it's this chip on my shoulder, whatever you want to call this extra motivator that I think more people need to lean into because they have a little bit of success and they get seduced by it and think it's just owed to them moving forward to go do it. And it's kind of that whatever they call it, not necessarily a metaphor, but like an alter ego that we bring ourselves into where it's like, hey man, like we're good. We know we're not going to get fired. We know we're not going to go out of business tomorrow, but we still tell ourselves that it's possible.
Yes.
Right. And so that in and of itself, would you say that that's more along the lines of kind of what you're talking about?
I relate to that 100%. Andy Frisella kind of always talks about
that's where that.
Like lean into those people that doubted you.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a very like religious background, like a private Christian school, family was super religious. So like you weren't supposed to think that way or at least vocalize it. So you deal with a lot of internal doubts.
Yeah.
But that is a huge part of it for me is just, there is a chip on my shoulder and always feeling like, okay, this could go away tomorrow.
Yeah. So then from there, right, how do you manage it all? Like, that's my next question is like, I'm hearing all this stuff. I'm like, man, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
How do you do that?
So for us, it's been obviously like the kids have been huge for me. Like I joke about it with everybody, but like for us, the first year, keeping margins high and not knowing how to run a business other than, I handled logistics for managing a band, but they were all adults. And this is when we play. This is when you show up. This is how much I can afford for gas or flights or whatever. This was a whole new thing of, do we need to hire, fire, whatever? Well, I had kids who are they're now 21, 18, 16.
Yeah.
So that part of me, like being able to delegate was huge, and having an internal wife who got in the truck and did the work too, like that made the load easier.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of the same thing. Like, we've hired bartenders for the bar. So like, I try not to do much for that unless it's a huge wedding. They need me there.
Sure.
Same thing with the junk. We're more business to business. I don't run any ads. Like I think we have like $5 on just for making sure that we're staying.
Relevant.
But like everything's been B2B. We've built relationships with, senior communities and senior transition. We tried to like be very, so I can just drop a dumpster in the morning before I hit work, send people to go, you know what I mean?
Just roll out.
And so it's been more of, not scale at this rapid pace, kind of like how Kyle like set the standard for all of us. Like, are we doing enough? Because he killed it with Slam Dunk and Jug, right? But for us, it's been like, I don't know if we want to duplicate that. Like, we just want to have enough to where this is what we can manage without having to go too far outside of the home, hiring this huge payroll of people. So it's been employees and being smart about who we partner with and that kind of thing.
And then on top of that, right? So you talk about like, whether it's Kyle or whether it's whoever else you look at online, like how has that impacted you as an entrepreneur, where you're like, hey, all these people, it seems like they're crushing it, or it seems like we need to be going doing the next thing, with also balancing of like knowing what you want. And getting super clear on B2B or whatever the thing is.
I think the first year was that. It was a lot of like believing the hype to social media, right? Like, I think it's a big reason why I just kind of connected with your stuff is you started posting some stuff that was very authentic. That's how I am. I'm like, I'm going to share when things are awful. Like, because that's just life, man. Like, you get kicked in the butt and like the ball sometimes.
It's just the reality.
And so when you would post about things, especially when you were going through, like, I don't even know but I saw like how much you had grown with what you were doing before, and then kind of starting from scratch. That was a big eye-opening thing for me with like business, is like, man, I watched this guy leave medical sales, again, just watching your story virtually, to then partner with these people and do this, and then like literally having to go from ground zero. This can be ripped from you at any time, and it's not always as pretty as IG and TikTok's making it look. But I'm comparing myself to a guy in town like Kyle, who was killing it, rolling 3 chucks, 10 years younger than me. Like, what am I doing? I'm not doing enough. Which feeds the doubt, the thing that keeps me away.
100%.
But I also realized I don't want to manage that. I'm not going to go that far on the risk side of things. That doesn't suit me. Takes the 5 hours I sleep down to 2.5.
Well, there is that direct like tug and pull, right? So it's like, even if you know what you want, there's going to be a season or seasons where it's like, shit, like it's going to push it and try to break you and go do those things, or break you and you have to rebuild. But then in that, right, like I was inundated in a lot of the social stuff from like 2020 up until really like middle of last year, where it was like I believed so much to be true about everything that I saw. And then so many of the people that I had trusted or invested money in or partnered with, you get on the other side of it, right? Like literally people that are like, hey, the sky is green. And you're like, but no, it's not, it's blue. And they're so convinced that using that as an example, or it's like, hey, like I made $1 million last year. And then you're like, but no, I have your financials. You actually didn't make anywhere near that. But then they still are convinced so I just have come to realize is like, hey, like creating the own scoreboard for success in all areas of my life, but knowing what that looks like, and then trying as much as possible to take bits and pieces from all of those people. Cause there's value to be had even to the people that are full of it. Because they've gotten somewhere because of where it's at. It may just be a little piece that you take, but then also knowing that like so much of it is not actually even close to reality. It's like, if you're looking at an entire book, it's like 2 or 3 pages of a 300-page book.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I would 100% agree with that. Yeah. And without, you're interviewing me, so I don't want to dive too much into it.
Man, whatever.
But like for you, just as somebody who was watching that side of it, who made me feel like before all this, I was blogging on my music website. Like I was a big, let me post and just be real as a writer, right? And you kind of revolutionized that for guys locally, because right, you were like the guy that had helped Kyle. So everyone was like going to you from that at first, right? Especially people in my space. But it became more personal the more I followed you, right? and you don't have to share whatever you can't share, but like, how was that for you from a guy who watched that and used some of that as fuel?
Yeah.
Like going from where you were, I mean, you were killing it in whatever you were doing before. I won't say what the name was, but then you transition out. Like, at what point did you go, okay, I have to shift gears? You were also somebody, you said, that's kind of the chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was part of you that was like, okay, am I a piece of crap? Like,
oh, dude, for sure. So like, I didn't make it public because they didn't want me to make it public, but I sold my franchise in, not sold it, but like merged it in June of 2023.
Okay.
So it was like, hey, like we started to see issues behind the scenes. So other franchisees started to leave. Like I was one of 28, like the number one franchise, and all other 27 of them for the most part were like not making any money. And then there was like me as like the anomaly out there. Right.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of like, hey, let's hitch our wagon to Adam, which has been a common theme that I've had people do in my life and use me, if you will. And then they had me write like another massive check to kind of get equity in the bigger piece of the pie. So I had done that, right? And then kind of turned everything over. Most of the public didn't know that because they didn't want it to look like, oh my gosh, people are moving away from Adam running the show to Adam just being a guy.
Got it.
So I kind of went to a personality in the VP of our sales department. And then I ended up wearing so many different hats, and it ended up kind of going by the wayside. So to the point where I couldn't sleep at night, and the point where I was like, hey, this is not reality. This is not what you guys sold me. And this is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
So tried to amicably walk out and got fired from my own company.
Okay.
Had to file a lawsuit, go through all that. And again, kind of just like tiptoe the line of what I could and couldn't do because I had a non-compete.
Gotcha.
So went through the whole legal battle to the mediation, to the back and forth, and then ultimately was able to kind of walk away.
Okay.
And so part of it was just trying to figure out who I was, right? And the idea was that I was not going to start another digital marketing agency. I was going to go find that next thing, whether it was the consulting or the personal branding or the mastermind or whatever. But it just kept coming back to where people started to find out that kind of what happened, right? And they were like, we just want to work with you in an agency that you're doing, whether it was the employees that I have now that came over or the clients or the reputation from a whole. And I was like, man, I would be foolish not to go restart this thing, even though I kept saying like I wasn't going to do it.
Right.
Kind of how it came.
Okay. That makes sense. So, and I kind of watched all this unfold from like, I don't want to say behind the scenes, but watching, and I'm like, I want to write him so bad. Cause there was a couple times like, yo, if you ever need to grab a beer, let me know.
That.
Just cause I saw you were going through it, and dude, no matter where anybody is, like the best thing you need is a friend, right? And
100%.
I've been on that side of things where like, I don't ever want to ask for help.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing as everyone's kind of leached onto me. Like, and then you're taking people up and realize it's the weight that's probably holding you on that you thought you were just strong enough to carry. Right?
Yeah. Well, you think like, so I'm a big believer in like any problem can be solved.
Yeah.
Right. And so like when I was looking at that, because like looking back on it, I didn't take some advice that I was given. People were telling me, hey, don't do it. Right. Like don't do the merger. Don't do all that different stuff. And then a couple people were like, yeah, you know, on paper, like it kind of makes sense. Like you've invested so much in this brand, and like if this thing's going to go down, you know, you're probably going to go down with it. Type of thing. But in my mind, it was like, hey, I can go save this. Right. So like my injection of cash, my $2 million a year agency, almost my 130 clients, my 10 team members, like I know what I'm capable of. I can go save it. Well, then you go and you bet on yourself and you're like, shit.
Right.
There's other factors that are outside of my control that will not allow me to fix it.
Okay.
But you keep going, and it's a kind of a repeating pattern in my life, right? Where it's like, I want to go fix that person, or I want to go fix this business, or I want to go do that. And sometimes, even though you think you can, and maybe you can, it doesn't actually, you don't need to say yes to the opportunity.
Right.
That's a big...
learning to say no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's how it came full circle for you.
That's how it came full circle, man.
Okay.
So you know, a lot of people expect me to be so pissed off and so frustrated.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I don't know how you haven't just gone to social media and just fired from my own company, dropped with all the expenses that came from my franchise somehow, some way, dropped from medical insurance as a type 1 diabetic and with a 6-month-old, portrayed with people that were like all of the religion stuff and like the greatest people on the face of the earth. And me just saying, hey, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give into it. I'm not going to feed into it. And for me, right, revenge is the greatest success.
100%.
So it's like now knowing that where we're at compared to where I know that they're at, even though that's not what social media says. Plus I've had employees either come over or they go somewhere else and then they come over here and just, again, even though I could have done a bunch of stuff, just like, what did I sign? I'm not going to deviate from doing that. I'm going to stay true to who I am and go do that. And it's not going to immediately help me, but long term, it's like I'm sitting here right now and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like I kind of deserve what I'm getting now because I was put through what I was put through. Yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
No, I mean, as the guy that's not, trying to scroll through gossip, I was always like, there's a little bit more to be desired. Like, what do you really want to say right now? So I'm glad to get to hear about it. I'm sure.
It's like, it's that commonality of like tiptoeing the line just in general, right? Whether it's something as big as that, or if like you're really pissed off and you want to go say something about, like, I always try to bring that storytelling, authentic, educational component to it. Like there's so many marketers, right, that I want to like put on blast for so many different reasons, or contractors that we worked with, but like keeping it general and just saying, hey, here is the reality of the silver lining from my point of view, because my point of view is not necessarily always right. It's my point of view.
Right.
There's right, there's wrong. And then there's, maybe not right and wrong, but there's somebody else's point of view, my point of view. And then somewhere in the middle lies the truth.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've just been a big proponent on. Is like, how do I just continue to educate and say, hey, if this were me, or this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I believe to be true, believe, not this is true. That's just how I've gone along, and it's gone up and down in terms of how well my content performs. But for me, it's just like, I don't necessarily look at that anymore. I used to look at it a lot, but now it's more of just like, hey, I just got to continue to show up, continue to, flex the muscle, and go from there.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm proud of you.
I
know it's not been easy.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I've watched it all from the back end and seen you come up, seen you were the ones writing in the groups at first. Like, hey, DM this person. I think you have somebody working for you. And our junker workers, they were like, why are marketers in here? I'm like, this dude never, like, he's so consistent.
Yeah, man. Well, so like a lot of the aspects, and I'd be interested to know like your side of it is like, how do you, like, I know how I've had to like transform my consistency over the years of like it being all Adam, and then you build a team, and then you build processes and systems, and then you build that. Like, how do you keep consistency and scale up beyond what you do? Because you're like, hey, I know how to do it.
Yeah.
But I need other people to step in and do
that. Is my biggest weakness. Like, I think every good salesman would say that in an interview of like, I'm not good at delegating. I truly suck at it. Like, I do, because I don't think anyone, Gary Vee says something one time, I'm not his biggest fan, but he says a lot of things that there's pieces you're like, oh, okay, I agree.
That makes sense.
And no one's going to love my business as much as me. No one's going to work as hard for my business.
100%.
And I have a hard time asking someone to. I don't want to ask you to. That means you love it more than me or just as much. That means I probably shouldn't be doing this if it's mine, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not good at delegating. I've just tried to find people. My wife is huge for me. Like, she helps out with so much of that.
Yep.
And just hiring the right people. We have small, like from our bartenders or guys that I hire to work on the truck or loading stuff up. I just keep my team real small that I can trust, and I don't overload it with jobs. Yeah. So whether it's 2 to 4 events on a weekend, we cap it off. Like, I'm not trying to go do 6 and 8 weddings. You know what I mean? Because I won't be able to handle that workload.
Yeah.
That's really been it, because the thing that keeps me up is also what keeps me consistent. My job now as a loan officer is, they tell us all the time, like, when you're coming in, you're training, hey, show up, think about when people are going to answer the phones. These are warm leads. These are veterans who have fought for the country, but they don't know anything about credit or finances, and they've never owned a home other than the land in their boot. That's all they know. Well, when are they going to answer the phone? Mornings, nights, weekends. So I work mornings, nights, weekends. In the middle of the day, I go handle all my other small business. The people that aren't doing that are struggling. They're mediocre, or they're bottom of the barrel. You're not reinventing the wheel. I'm just disciplined. Every morning I'm in the office at 7 a.m. I leave at 10 or 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So the thing that keeps me up is what keeps me going.
Yeah. That's really cool to hear, but it's really interesting as well, because that is literally what is the difference between people living the life that they want to live and having what they want to have and the success that they want to have, versus the people that are always like, oh, life isn't fair, making the excuse of doing all this stuff. It's like, what are you willing to do that other people won't?
Yes. 100%.
That's where the success lies.
And not listening to criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what you have to say about me. If you don't have the life I want, Like what you have to say doesn't matter.
Was that mindset, has that always been with you, or did
No.
you have to develop it? When did you develop it?
Probably in the last couple of years.
Okay.
And what's been weird, man, is like going back to a sales office. I love the people I work with. I love the company I work for. It is like owning your own business. You make your own hours. You work when you want or when you don't. And a lot of companies say that, but being a small business owner, not being people live up to that. Like you just get fired if you don't come in for 2 days. It truly is like your results will show if what you're doing is working.
Yeah.
But dude, being in that environment again and like around salespeople or just people who've never been in it trying to cut their, their teeth.
Yeah.
I get it every day. It's, oh, must be nice. Or, you know what I mean? Like you don't love your family because you're always like, I've heard it all.
Yeah.
And this year's been the biggest, like, I really don't care what y'all have. Like you've not been as broke as I've been during COVID, not being able to afford hot dogs and soda for my family. You've not seen how much money you can make by just sweating and tearing down decks and concrete.
Sure.
So I'm not going to judge what your value of how much I need to be here is. I'm just going to place my own benchmarker. When my wife or my kids go, hey, we need you home a little more, that's what I listen to.
Yeah.
But I've not been great at that because it used to bother me. I'm not going to sit here and say I had thick skin forever.
Yeah.
Now I do, but I'm 40 and been through enough shit where it's like.
Well, I would say like the last year and a half since all that stuff has gone down is like there's so much even more to that story too.
I'm sure, man.
That is even more effed up behind the scenes, but more on my personal side with it all. But like I've had to develop that, right? Where it's like, hey, people are like, hey, why don't you let that affect? And it's like, it still affects me.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I told you it didn't. But on the other side of that is until you experience those things and actually have it happen, you're never going to know.
Man.
You can't prepare for it.
No.
Right. Like, and that's where I think so many people want to prepare for the unknown. They want to prepare for crisis. They want to prepare for disaster. You can have the greatest plan in the world, but until you actually are there faced with that like fork in the road decision or the moment or the catastrophe, you don't necessarily know how you're going to react because circumstance will change. And it's that like, hey, like, yeah, people will say whatever they want to say or do whatever they want to do. You just kind of have to not brush it off, but take it and deflect it.
Yeah.
Is probably the biggest thing.
I mean, I'm taking that advice and listening to it right now because not that there aren't people that aren't born with it. I just think those kind of guys are rare. You know what I mean? Like,
so I think, it's funny, like the people that are born with that type of thing, right? I know that there are people that are out there that are likely born with it and probably great people.
Sure.
But the people that I know that are born with it or that I've known for years that have done it are usually the assholes.
They are assholes.
Or the people that are the narcissists, like they're the ego ones. They're the ones that like, again, literally like, oh no, the sky is green.
Exactly.
And like those types of people, they're actually phenomenal at that. Oh, I don't care. But it's because they've been having for years and years and years.
Yeah.
They've been having people like throwing shit on them for so long because they're like trying to expose them. Right. And it's just like, so those people, they've been dealing with it for so long. They're like, what's this lawsuit? What's this other thing?
Yeah.
Like I've dealt with it all.
That's so true, bro. No, that's a great perspective. Because I always see them, I'm like, I wish I was born with thick skin. It's just taken 40 years to get it. And there's still some days where I'm just like, you replay the things that was said and like, is there truth to that? Because I'm big on self-awareness. Like I'm a guy that if somebody says something to me, my first instinct is not to defend myself. 100%. I'm like, man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But then I'll be like, hey, we need to have a conversation because I'm confrontational too.
That's 100% like, so now I was even telling our team this just in general. And I was also having a conversation with my wife about it. I was like, hey, like anytime I've gotten so good at anytime something comes up, I first look inward, ask that question. And even though if I do say like, hey, can we have a conversation about it right now? Like I'm still trying to process that there. But yeah, really the secret sauce is looking inward first, giving time to the space that's needed between both parties, whether it's another business, an individual or whatever, and then saying, okay, hey, I've had some time to reflect on it. And I assume you have as well. There's probably truth or at least perception to the reality that it is, right? Someone might think that, but it could be misinterpreted. I want to clear the air and again, move on from it, even if it means we don't do business together anymore, we don't hang out, whatever the thing is. Providing that space to then get clarity on it, I think is good for everybody involved.
I completely agree with that. I don't think a lot of people do, but or at least practice it.
Well, yeah, practicing it is tough, right? I think that's the aspect that most people fail at. one of the questions I want to ask you is, so obviously you have like these different businesses, right?
Mhm.
I know you mentioned like right now you're not doing for the junk removal company a lot of like ads and all those things. How have holistically, is there like a playbook you've ran across the two different companies, what you're going to be doing with the camper, that you're just like, hey, this is what we do. Like, this is how we try to grow the brand and build authority.
It's been SEO, like our website has like been big, like we've just been big on organic. I also believe in like networking, whether it's just like Facebook and just, you know, Chamber of Commerce stuff. Like I think putting a name behind a brand does a lot. And 100%. I think you can probably attest to that with Builders of Authority is when they know you and then they know the kind of person you are, they want to also be a part of it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's their own selfish thing of like, hey, I helped get him that, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's been the same piece is like shaking hands, having coffee, going to dinner, or just telling people like cold email or a phone call. Hey, can I buy you a cup? Whatever it is, the old school stuff. That's how I am.
Yeah.
I don't do what you do. I don't know how to digital market. I hire people for that. It was just more one of those things where like, hey, we wanted an expensive business to start up front, which was kind of how junk removal and dumpsters were, but low ongoing overhead. And then if it had wheels, because the Midwest is slow to niche things like a mobile photo camper and an Italian Vespa as a bar, where they're booming in the East and West Coast. Let's see if it has legs, can recoup, and then let's scale slowly.
Yeah.
We kind of used that exact same approach. In camper, this will be year one. So that's kind of what we've been doing. When we go to start running ads and marketing, obviously we'll be calling you. So.
Well, I love that though, because again, I was talking with somebody the other day, and I was even talking with my business partners in the roofing company that we just launched on October 1st. I said, hey, like we're 2 months in, spent a lot of money on Google ads, not made a return on investment yet. Brand new website, brand new domain, SEO hasn't kicked off, and it's the slowest time of year.
Yeah.
In one of the most competitive per density markets. And people just aren't putting on roofs when it's freaking 30 and 20 degrees out. I said, but we are building for the future with enough time, if it's organic or whatever, or it's just you networking, with enough time or with enough money. I have proven time and time again that any marketing strategy can and will work for any business anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, most business owners don't want to hear that it might take 3 years.
No.
They don't want to hear that it might take X number of dollars. And that's okay. And that makes sense, but you can't say it won't work. Now, if you go with the wrong strategy, you hire the wrong marketer, you try to do it yourself. There's all those other things that could influence that. But so often, right, it's like somebody has their website designed 5 times in 4 years or whatever the thing is like you keep starting over the time that it would take to just get to where you're trying to go. Or, you know, people are like, well, hey, I heard from so-and-so marketer, Google ads or Facebook ads takes 90 days. Great. Are we talking about $1,000 a month? Are we talking about $5,000 a month?
Right.
What market are you in? What industry? Like there's so many factors where people just throw up blanketed things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, this is where businesses struggle, is because they don't have that. And a lot of people want to go to the paid stuff first and not go do what you're talking about, the boots on the ground, the networking, the brand building, so you can get the low, easy hanging fruit that then will consistently go and pay off time and time again.
Yeah, exactly. It's fed us, so it works. So I'm not afraid of it. Yeah. And if it starts slow, we're not spending a bunch of money on ads right out the gate. We didn't coming out of COVID, we didn't have it. It was like, how do we figure this out? I was on Thumbtack starting, and then it just turned into literally watching you talking about, Google My Business page, and we like started just posting photos consistently, just trying to, hey, whatever we can generate from someone just Googling junk removal, which became, when we started it, there wasn't a lot of us in 2020. Kyle started in 2020, I think. And there was maybe 10 or 12.
Yeah, there was not a lot.
And now it's like, dude.
Everybody.
I don't even tell people. I'm like, we're a dumpster and demo company. But that's how it started.
Yep.
And I felt the same thing with the Buzz Bee. I got in like a local Facebook group and was like, hey, we'll give away a free party for whoever shares this, comments or whatever. Yeah. And in a week, it blew up. One free party turned into a year. It was like, oh, we recouped. We're in the positive after year one. Yeah. So, and the bar is based off of every event. So there's no ongoing cost other than insurance. So for us, it was like, okay, they worked. Now we just continue trying to grow
and scale it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
It's been good.
Well, dude, this has been an awesome episode, man. I'm really glad we got the opportunity to finally sit down and chat. And I wanted to ask last question. So obviously you've talked about kind of your journey, where things are at. It's kind of two questions. What are you most excited about kind of heading into 2026 and moving forward? And then what's one lesson that, coming out of COVID as an example, that you would tell yourself, hey, I learned this, avoid that moving forward?
The biggest thing I learned was it can all go away. So don't hold on to it. Like, obviously we're all trying to chase some sort. You need money. I will never say that. You never see somebody ride a jet ski who's pissed off.
Yeah,
right? Money makes, there's a correlation. Right? But it can also go away. So like, we're very generous people. We take care of the people around us. We love the people. We're big in our community. I volunteer coach travel basketball. We've literally paid for jerseys and hotels. Like, we love our people.
Yeah.
So I don't take it too serious as much as like, I want to be busy and know I did my best at night, but it's never going to feel good enough.
Yeah.
But it can all go away.
Yeah.
And I also don't correlate Give and Go, the Busby thing with my identity. Like, who Aaron is not, whether I fail as a musician, which I did, or we lose money one month in business, because I have many times. That doesn't mean I suck as a dad or a friend.
Sure.
So that was the biggest thing for me, is like COVID, I had nothing, no money, put on a shitload of weight, was trying to cover all my problems. And you know what I mean? Like, you just learn, like, am I a failure because music and the country shut down?
Yeah.
So no, like, business and identity are two different things. That would be my biggest thing. Most thing I'm excited for, I think, is just getting to see if it takes, all this stuff continues to take off. Like, it's a game.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Like, you're chasing to see how well you do.
Yeah.
I don't compare myself to anybody. I just, how did we do this year compared to last year?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a part of something that doesn't make me smile. Like, hey, if I'm proud of this, I'm happy about it, I want to tell you about it.
Yeah.
Cool. If I get that pit in my stomach or start feeling cringy, I'm out. So as long as we can continue to build with integrity and have cool conversations and meet people like you, man, I'm pumped.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm excited to continue, watching your journey, seeing what you can do, man. And
Thanks,
thank you so much for coming in for the episode.
Likewise, dude. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening or watching today's episode as well. Make sure to where can people stay connected with you?
The Busby STL. So the Busby Mobile Bar, that's our website, or the Busby STL, Give and Go Junk Removal. We don't do a lot of that. So you can hit us up for a dumpster if you need one.
Yeah. And then what about your personal stuff? Like, you active Facebook, Instagram? All
Aaron Mansfield. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook, any of that.
Awesome. Make sure to, we'll have that all in the show notes. Make sure to go connect with him and his companies and stay tuned to all the amazing things he's going to be working on. If you're listening to this episode on the podcast platform of your choice, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast show itself. Download, obviously, this episode, and then leave us a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and thank you so much for your support. Remember, authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.